Hello guys and welcome to Marginalia. Marginalia? The title that is there, because I can't pronounce this game. It's I think this is a paid title and it's available on itch.io. Okay.
I haven't told this story in a very long time. You'll have to forgive me if I have trouble keeping it straight.
It's voice acted. Now this is a surprise. I did not know it was voice acted. I did not know that. I had no idea it was voice acted. I thought it was like it's a random indie game. Seems rather promising, I must say. We'll see if I can play this in one go, or if I'll have to get back to it in another day. But I guess if I do get back to it in another day, it will be several months later and everyone will have forgotten about it. I didn't actually read the plot for the game. It's kind of bad, I guess. I didn't really bother reading it. It's kind of nice. I mean, you can definitely tell it's an indie game, I suppose, but overall, I've seen worse. Now, I'm not entirely sure where I'm going. I hope it's not a Slender clone, because if it is, I fear I might actually get a jump. I can. Surprising. Walking feels a bit stiff or a bit weird, I guess. Feels like I'm tripping on something. Oh dear. Oh, I can see something down there. We should probably go there. Can I die, you think? Probably not. I hope not. Would be awkward if I could.
Eric had left in the night 6 weeks before. I started awake when he rolled out of bed before dawn, but I drifted back to sleep immediately. When I woke up, I was covered in dew. I looked out the open window to see the sun breaking over the horizon. The automobile was gone, so I showered, got dressed, and caught the bus to work.
I mean, it's nice that it's voice acted, but I think the microphone could have been slightly better. Like a bit of enunciation on the words would have been good, or like perhaps had like subtitles so I could like hear properly. Because you know, even though I'm not a native English speaker, I do consider myself to be fairly fluent in English, but when the speech is a bit too jumbled together, it's hard to hear what the hell where am I going? But anyway, it's hard to hear what the hell he's saying. I get that he apparently was left by someone in a bed or something, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going. There? Seems to be bright and fiery, so let's go there. Like, and if you're watching this, you're probably wondering, well, you wouldn't perhaps wonder about that, but in some videos I sound perfectly healthy and fine, in some others I sound like I'm dying, and that's because I recorded these throughout a span, so...
He used to tell me about a recurring dream he would have. A figure stood on a hilltop far away. He could see it beckoning for him. "Are you sure it's you they want every time?" I asked once, and he sighed. "It's either me or someone standing directly behind me. Is that better or worse?"
Yeah, subtitles would have been awesome. Oh, it's so pretty. But I saw something down here. I kind of want to explore that, but I want to explore this too. Oh my god, I'm confused. I want to explore everything. I was actually thinking about doing a let's play of The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, but I heard some stuff about it being poorly optimized for the PC, which kind of put me off from buying the game. So I do try to buy all the games I like. It's very rarely that I download an illegal
Eric devoted
copy.
more than 10 pages to a cobbled together story that he referred to as the parable. It was impossible for me to follow his references and sources, but it appeared to be an origin myth for a pan-European coven of witches that had disappeared before anyone even thought about settling Kestlebrook.
I love these. I love purple, guys. I love that color. It's my favorite color. Perhaps a bit darker than that, but I love it. I would so paint my room in it if I could. Like, seriously. But I mean, this game is like, I should probably read what the hell these games are about. But I know it's like for $5 or something on itch.io, so it is a paid title. Although it's fairly cheap, but I still expect some type of value if I'm going to pay that price. I think it's available to both Mac and Linux and Windows and all that. I can't say if it's available to Windows 8. I guess it is.
I was sitting at my kitchen table across from an empty chair when the doorbell rang. Surprised, I dropped my coffee cup and it shattered on the floor. I stepped over it quickly, closing the distance between myself and the door. And when I threw it open, I expected Eric to be there. Instead, there was a delivery boy with a letter. I read it to myself, moving my lips to cement it in my memory. It was a short missive. Come to me, I've found it. The return address read Kestlebrook. I bought the train ticket that afternoon.
Oh dear. I wonder, is this kind of based on a story? Because I have played certain games that have been based on, like, novels by Edgar Allan Poe and other not gothic, but other writers of fantasy and horror. Like H.P. Lovecraft stories and all that.
I shattered the lock of Eric's desk drawer 5 days after he left.
The
I
what?
never really cared about what he kept in there, but his absence had driven me to find any remnant I could. I found some of his notebooks. He always scribbled constantly, filling volume after volume without telling me what he's actually working on.
Yeah,
Every few months I would ask him about it, and he would smile beautifully before changing the goddamn subject. Sometimes he would refer to it as history in casual conversations, never truly elaborating.
am I
It
gay?
was strange at first, but it became our rhythm, some sort of untold secret. So I ignored whatever was in that desk, until that hammer drove it open.
Definitively, not some enunciation. Like, definitely need some enunciation here, because the words are getting jumbled together in my mind. Which might be actually my fault, but, yeah.
I read the notebooks on the train. His handwriting traced out the contours of the page, curving with the once wet paper in a way that made it seem like he had summoned the words from the sheets themselves. It was organized like an encyclopedia, and each entry told the story of another arcane or banal place, object, or person. Here was a record of the families who had lived on a single acre of land in the north of France. There was an oral history of a Turkish city. There were 10 pages on a pitchfork that changed hands during strange moments of history. The text refused to cohere for me, and I wonder why Eric had put it all together.
Really fucking tall grass. Will I get some blood sucking things on me if I go in there? What's it called? What the hell is those things called that suck blood? Ticks? Yes, ticks. Is that it? Ticks? I don't really know, I can't remember.
One of the journals Eric had left was devoted to Kestlebrook itself. The town the train delivered me to was not the first Kestlebrook, and the maps Eric had drawn in the journal showed me that the name derived from a small valley a few miles away. At the turn of the last century, the Kessler family had struck out from nearby Allenburg because of religious persecution, although Eric's notes were pretty unclear about what that really meant. The family of 8 built their cabin and barn in the spring of 1815.
That must be the
A year later,
cabin.
only 5 remained, and the next winter spared only the matriarch, Eileen Kessler. The trader who had passed through during the summer of 1817 was apparently the last to report seeing her alive.
Nice. Seems to be stuff over there too. And there. Let's go to this one.
Kessler's barn blew down sometime during the record-setting storms of 1816, but no one knows when the cabin burned. A hunter named John Rambeau entered the clearing in the fall of 1820 to find a rotting foundation and a scorched room. There was no sign of Eileen Kessler. He picked through the wreckage and found nothing. No clothing, no possessions, and nothing of value. There was only a clean, burned void in the middle of an empty field. Eric noted that Rambo's journal, housed in the Halloran University Library, contained a short account of his journey. The hunter wrote that he felt as if someone was peering at him, somewhere from the surrounding hills, and had the urge to leave as fast as possible. A marginal note from Eric explained that this is the last entry in Rambo's journal.
Nice. Seems to be a lot of story in this game anyway. I'll continue playing and just cutting it up if it drags on too much. Seems redundant to do all that. Oh, hello and welcome back to this game, which I can't pronounce the title of. I'm so confused as to what the purpose is. It seems to be to go and find those things and hear some more narrative. Does this even count as a game then? Because there's no fail state in it. There's like no way you can fail. Well, except if you close the game, I guess. But I hope it's not like the Daylight Forest.
No one settled in the Kestlebrook region for 50 years after the last Kessler disappeared. Erwin Pallardine's A History of the Lowland Peoples, written in 1855, has a one-paragraph entry on Kestlebrook. It ends with this sentence: "Stories abound of howling and lights in the distance during the night. Not a single soul I spoke to claimed to have traveled into the valley during the past 25 years.
Right. I love the areas though. I like them. I actually like it. It's not a bad game, from what I can tell. I'm a bit adamant if it's worth $5 though, but that's just my sheep nature that might be speaking for me.
The town of Kestlebrook was dead when my train pulled into the station. The porter told me I'd best find a room for the night. I explained that I wasn't really there on vacation or business, and that I needed to find my way to the real Kestlebrook. I needed to make my way to the secluded glen where I hoped to find Eric. But in retrospect, I knew I should have waited through the night. I was compelled. There was something about the moon, maybe, or in the night air. I was so close. The porter drew a map for me on the back of a brochure in smudged pencil, and he showed me where to turn from the main road onto a dirt road and where to leave the road entirely. I left the streetlights behind me and traveled into the dark.
Is that where I am now? That would explain a lot, actually. Oh, look, a bridge. Maybe there is a purpose to this game after all.
Eric's parents died several years before he disappeared. Their home caught fire just as the sun was going down. He told me that the fire engines had passed him as he was walking home. It was only when he rounded the corner that he saw the plume of smoke blotting out the newly risen moon.
Oh, look, there's something down there too. And there too! Oh my god. This is gonna be a long game, isn't it? Is this me or did it change? Like the color scheme, it feels like it changed. Maybe it's because the lights are getting... Don't tell me the flashlight is starting to flicker and die. That would be terribly unsightly.
I can't explain what drove me down the path between the trees. I felt like I was haunting that place. I knew that I needed to be there. And I knew that Eric needed me. It seemed to be enough it was in his journals. But for some reason, his mind revolved around Kestlebrook. All the answers were there, but as I read the papers, I couldn't figure out the question.
Right, it's one of those games. Reminds me a bit of Dear Esther, actually, when I think about it. It's the same type of narrative. Although this seems to be making more sense. But why is there a bloody organ?
Eric's journal entry for the Raphaelites outlined a sect of traveling monks who began their orders sometime in the latter half of the 16th century. Founder Tranquillo Balbi claimed that he had seen a figure step from a painting, don clothing, and disappear into a crowd. From that moment on, he devoted his life to trying to find these creatures and banish them from the world. Not long after founding this group, Balbi was killed by the Italian state. His last words are quoted in several heretical texts on art from the time period. Fire is the only truth. A few nights before he left, he told me that he felt like an anchor. He said that he felt like he was dragging me down. I didn't know what he meant, and all these years later I still don't quite understand. I think I got close to figuring out that night when I walked through the valley. I felt what he said. He was dragging me towards some dark center of the world. I couldn't stop. Sometimes I thought I could see him standing out there among the trees. When I tried to make out his shape, it was like I was peering into some vast, abyssal shelf.
Nope, I can't see anyone. Sorry to make you disappointed. So I guess this is like we narrating our way as... Oh god, that's a real flicking of my wrist. But like we're narrating our way around what happened in the past, I guess. I don't really know.
Are you asking me if I think Kestlebrook is haunted?
No.
At least not in the way that you mean when you ask me that. It's just that someone has been there, and they've planted a seed. That seed will grow, and that seed is growing, and the fruit will ruin us all.
I hope those are not important, because I will never remember these. So 630. It's never gonna remember this, but okay.
I've been given to understand that the town of Kestlebrook had a hell of a time getting started. Stillbirths plagued both the settlers and their work animals. The cultivated fields would spontaneously catch fire. Packs of wild dogs roamed the streets in winter. The historical records suggest that they were driven out of the hills by competing predators, but it does not speculate on what those predators could have been. I wonder who or what changed its mind and allowed these people to catch hold and prosper, like a weed on a cliff.
Huh. Well, that's very interesting. This flashlight is doing very little for me. Is that an arrow pointing that I should go up? If it is, thank you. We're going under the bridge now. I hope that we're closing in on the end of the game. It's getting a bit long, actually. Excuse me, no need to fart. The noises are making me a bit unsettled. That's great. That's great work, actually, if they're making me unsettled. Like, they're so close. I want to look back to see if there is anything that's going to kill me. And you know there's nothing behind you, but you kind of have to look regardless, just in case there might be something there. That's a bit how I feel.
Eric's notebooks are full of marginalia. Notes on top of notes to explain how a figurehead was toppled, or to cross-reference a medallion that tore apart a family of French aristocrats. The last few entries are sketches of stones or altars. Numbers pepper their faces. Their surfaces are plotted in grids that stretch out beyond them, accounting for the ground and the air between them. Little points of significance in the absence between things.
Right, I don't... yeah, okay. It's starting to get creepy.
This doesn't make any sense.
Oh god.
I felt machinery creaking to life. I screamed for him. Everything went dead silent, but I could hear him whispering to me. I can't. I don't. It wasn't like him. The silence became a dull hum and I fell towards the stones. I think I was screaming, but I couldn't hear myself. I'm screaming and no one can hear me. But Eric is whispering and telling me that everything will be okay. And I can hear this horrible gear tick, tick, ticking over me again. I looked down and I couldn't see my hands, my feet, just this terrible nothing in a precipice that I couldn't see over. I pulled myself up, pushed against the edge, and I heard it speak out from the storm. I was nothing, it was everything. And with my last bit of strength, I spun away from the voice and the light, and I hoped that I would die.
What the fuck is going on? It's a fucking light show. That scared the living shit out of me. I wasn't expecting that. It's amazing. I love it. What the fuck is going on? I love it, but I have no idea what the hell is going on. I'm scared. What am I doing? Is this the end of the game? I think it was. No? Is that me over there? What's going on? Wait, I'm going there, I guess. Towards him. Or towards that silhouette. It's going really slowly. Is that the person that went missing? Whom we've been trying to find?
No, that's the entire story. I promise that's all. When the sun broke over the hollow, I woke up and scrambled back to the road, back into the town, and back to the train. I lost Eric's journals. I think I left him there and that he was glad I did. I don't think there was malice in it. He was caught up in something he didn't understand. No, they never found a body. Nothing like that. No, I haven't been back. No, I won't tell you. Just please don't go there.
Could I have saved him, you think? Was there any way I could have saved him? Not that I'm gonna replay it, but I'm just curious. You guys play it and tell me, was there any way I could have saved him? Or was this like cut out and dry from the start? Because I'm very confused at the moment. But anyway guys, I'll see you in the next episode of whatever it is I make.